This is the story. It was a cold, cold October night, and I had finally arrived at my destination after some time driving. The local hospital. The reason I was here is because I planned to manslaughter every single person I saw. Whether it be the doctors, nurses, or patients, everyone was going to get slaughtered, no matter who they were, no matter what age, no matter what they looked like, no matter how innocent or guilty. Everyone was going down no matter what it took, and there was nothing they could do to stop me. You see, the reason I was even doing this to begin with was because I was pretty bored at home, so I had to keep myself entertained somehow, and it seems like manslaughtering every single person I saw in a hospital was the best solution to the problem. You know, a pretty quick and easy fix. In fact, just plotting out this whole scenario in my head, I couldn't help but get excited. Whether it be because I'm mutilating my victims chunk by chunk and seeing their liver, guts, and intestines fall out all over the floor into a huge gore pile, or whether it be because I'm slitting their throats and seeing them gurgle on their own blood and seeing their bodies spasm all over the floor from the shock and impact of death, I just couldn't help but feel so happy. And so it was finally time to put my plan into effect. I'd taken my blade that I had brought with me here and concealed it into my coat so that no one could see it. I also put on my hoodie to prevent anyone from seeing my face. I then finally opened up the car door and then locked it behind me as I closed it. I then walked to the hospital parking lot, eventually making it to the front entrance of the building. Upon entering the building's front doors, I found myself in the lobby. There's also a security guard there, probably waiting to check me in. He then walks up to me and says, "Sir, I'm gonna need to check you for any weapons." So then in response, I say, "Don't worry, my blade's right here," and before he has the time to react, I pull it out and impale him in the stomach with it, opening up a brand new wound with tons of warm and thick blood gushing out of it. But I don't just stop there. Oh no, I continue on with this torture, his constant screams of pure pain and agony only adding to the pure blissfulness of the moment. Whether I'm slashing his throat open, watching tons of juicy, warm and thick blood seep down beneath us to the floor, whether I continue to impale him in the stomach, gutting him like a fucking fish, with his guts falling out beneath us, whether I'm doing anything, my only goal in the end is to make his inevitable death as painful and as insufferable as possible. Then he eventually falls limply down to the floor, dead. And with the amount of times I impaled him and cut him open, his body, from the amount of blood that was covering it, made it completely indescribable. It was as if it was the exact opposite of what it originally was, completely inside out. In reaction to what had just happened, I decided to talk to his corpse for a moment. "Oh look, you're dead," I say with pure maliciousness in my voice. But from this point outwards, I'd only started to grow only more excited. This was only the beginning, and if this is what I could do to a security guard, who knows what could happen to the patients, doctors, and nurses as well. And so began my search throughout the hospital for more humans, more creatures to completely fucking utterly murder in the most painful and slowest way possible. Although the first thing that I would need to do was to locate the power room so I could take out the power completely. What fun would this game be if my victims could spot me before I killed them? The only enjoyment I would find out of a game of cat and mouse was if I was the cat and the victims were the mouse. And so I was off to locate the power room. I decided to take the hallway to the right, seeing as it was the closest to me. And what a coincidence! There was an air duct right on the wall. I decided to take it off by using my blade, taking out all the screwdrivers so I could actually remove the panel. I then moved in and crawled up to wherever I could go to. After a short amount of time crawling throughout the air duct in the most quiet way possible, I couldn't let anyone actually hear me, I finally came to a halt when I saw yet again another panel, with the power room right beneath it. I then took out my blade again and once again, just like last time, removed all the screwdrivers out of it. And just like with the last panel, removing this one and jumping down. Upon entering the room, the first thing that I noticed was the security guard with his back turned to me, most likely defending the room from anyone trying to get in. And from the looks of it, seeing as he was asleep, he probably hated his job, but fortunately for him, he wouldn't be doing his job that much longer. And so, with speed and stealth, I quickly crouched down, walked up behind him, took out my blade with my right hand as I stood up, and impaled him right in the jugular. I then covered his mouth with my left hand to prevent him from making a noise. I couldn't let anyone actually come help him after all. And I kept doing this for a few more moments, making it as painful as I could. Eventually, he dropped it to the floor. And so, now with the guard dead, I was able to continue on my mission without any interruption. So then I decided to go over to where the fuse box was on the other side of the room, opened it up, took my blade, and cut out every single cord I could find. Eventually, all the power was completely out, and the building was 100% pitch black. And now, this is where the fun could really begin. And seeing as no one could see me unless they had a flashlight, considering the lack of camera support that the building now had, this only made my mission 1,000 times easier. So, as soon as I was about to exit the room, I noticed that someone was coming my way. So as a way to prevent them from seeing me, I decided to take the opportunity to hide behind the wall where the door is located, and wait for him to enter the room so I could kill him that way. Quick and stealthy. After a few moments, this person, who I now noticed was a nurse, had finally entered the room. But before killing her instantly like I originally planned to, I decided to wait for a little while, to see what her reaction would be to the room. That being the dead guard and the broken fuse box. She aimed her flashlight around the room, looking around seeing what was the problem. She first aimed it at the fuse box. She then smelled something odd, something dead. Then I noticed that she pointed her flashlight down to the guard, and screamed. Taking the opportunity considering how shocked she was, I ran up to her, took out my blade, and stabbed her in her back, twisting and turning the knife inside of her, killing her instantly. After now killing 3 people, I couldn't give 2 shits about whether or not I was spotted anymore. I didn't care about anything anymore, other than killing every single person I saw. With the state I was in now, I was far too excited to just hide and just wait and kill people at a certain time. Oh no, I was gonna kill everyone one by one, no matter how long it took, and I was gonna make everyone suffer. And so that's exactly what I did. And it all started with me walking out of the room that I was originally in. I first saw a kid in a wheelchair and a doctor walking by, so I decided to go after the kid first out of the 2 of them. I pulled him out of the wheelchair, body slammed him to the ground, took my blade, and impaled him to the throat, his blood splattering all over the walls and floors. In a complete state of shock, the doctor didn't know what to do, completely frozen in his stance. I then went after him, impaling him in the stomach, stabbing him non-stop over and over and over again, his guts and intestines spilling out beneath him on the floor. As soon as I was done killing these 2, I saw a security guard walking in. Reacting to the situation, he then pulled out a pistol and tried to shoot me, but before he could actually pull the trigger, I grabbed onto the arm that was holding the pistol, twisted it, and broke it. I then took the pistol out of his now broken arm and shot him directly in the head, killing him instantly. I then ran out of this hallway into the next one, and I saw 2 patients walking by. I ran up to them and grabbed them both, slamming their heads into one another. I then grabbed the first patient, who was an adult male, and as a way to really torture him, I cut his balls off. He screamed in pure pain and agony. I then put my hand over his mouth and told him, "Shh, the pain will be over soon." So then, I took my blade and stabbed him right in the fucking dick, cutting it off and fucking impaling him in the goddamn stomach. Over and over and over again, just like the last patients that were killed in the same way. And then, he was dead. The other patient reacted by screaming and then running out as fast as she could. I then ran after her, grabbed her by her ponytail, and then slammed her to the ground, taking my blade and stabbing her repeatedly. I then took her left and right arms and cut them off one by one, making her armless. Then, I stabbed her right in the chest, where her heart was located, and just like that, she was dead. I then noticed that I was in front of her room. Seeing as the door was unlocked for whatever reason, I opened it up and noticed an entire room full of sleeping patients. So as a way to do something that I know I would never regret, I went up to all of these patients and unplugged their support from the wall, killing them all in their sleep. And then stabbing every single one of them just to really add to the fun. Whether it be right in the brains, whether it be in their limbs, no matter where it was, I was killing him. And all this killing, this non-stop killing, just went on for hours and hours and hours. Whether I'm impaling those in the stomach over and over and over again, whether I'm slamming them to the ground, whether I'm cutting their heads off, whether I'm shooting them with their own guns, no matter what was going to happen, everyone was going to die. And in the end, it was all just fun. The pure adrenaline only driving me to do this more and more. And then, eventually, it was all over. And then, I finally left the hospital. My mission complete with every single person dead. Whether they were begging, whether they were pleading, whether they were screaming, whether they were guilty or innocent, they were all completely dead. Happy Halloween.